So last night, you sent me a RFK link that they were going to be talking about Make America Healthy Again.
Yeah.
And I missed it when it aired. It was last night, right?
I did too, yeah. It was last night, but it was like, dang near 10 o'clock, and I was unconscious by then.
Yeah.
I'm not staying up that late.
So I looked it up this morning to see if I could get the replay of it, and all I got was responses and reactions to it. And I was so thrown off by how much negativity that it attracted. And I don't understand it. It's almost like you could say anything, especially if you put "Make America ... dot. I don't care what it is. Make America prosperous again. Oh!
Nope, it's the buzzwords.
Absolutely.
Make America was a buzzword that was used by one side, which means you must be talking about one side.
You gotta hate it all. So I could say, make America have better water, right? And you think when you say something like that you're not going to have anybody that's going to be against water being better, right? But it does. It attracts it. So back to the for those of you who don't know, RFK Jr. is going to take on the health industry of poisoning people with their food and the over-reliance on pharmaceuticals and really tearing down the institutions and making everybody miserable and sick. And you and I are big believers in that side. Yeah. And I'm very eager to see what he can do. Yes. I think the industries are too, hardcore and powerful to put up with one little, I don't think there are a whole lot of people, based on the reactions that I got last night, I don't think there are a whole lot of people that will fight against those things. So I'm going to pause right here, and I want to play this, and then we're going to react to it.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So give me your thoughts on...
Oh, there's a lot to unpack there. I was trying to make mental notes with every point he made. So again, I feel like to me, I took him as very much one of those people that it is this or this. You're saying this is all bad and this is not good for you and this is blah, blah, blah. No, that's not the case. You're saying that this side believes this side believes this. No, that's not the case. He, again, is sort of pushing this narrative as he's speaking for what someone else is wanting to do. He's putting his own bias behind it, disregarding anything that was actually said or actually being done. Any thoughts there yet?
Because it's super hard to disagree to make people healthy. And the ideals is what makes people healthy. So I think before you even have that discussion that we watch, what's your definition of being healthy? Is it mean, like he was talked a lot about money. So it was really, sensitivity on his part that, I'm talking about health, right? The feeding the body in its natural state without having to have a crutch of pharmaceuticals or whatever.
Right.
He's talking about keep your crutches, just make them cheaper. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't sound like it, if you keep playing that out, if we have we take health out of the equation, we shouldn't exercise, we shouldn't eat healthy. I don't think anybody's saying the person that's going to die if they don't have drugs, right? Take those drugs away from them so they just meet their maker early. They're saying, let's make less people need the drugs in the first place. When you are healthy, you don't need the crutch. Not like I'm going to take the crutch away from you if you actually need it.
Yeah, and like I said, he's making it so like you're either all for drugs and taking drugs for any and everything because it's going to help, why not? Or ban drugs and take no medication whatsoever. And that's not what RFK is doing, I don't believe.
Well, all of those issues are the same thing. Like every first response, like if 90% of the people are in poor health and don't have to be, and 10% of them are in poor health because of a disease or whatever, like I want to solve the 90% because that has the most people in it.
Yeah.
And I still serve the 10%. They're not going to be excluded from it. But I don't care if you're talking about abortion or environmentalism. It's all the fringe cases of the reason why we don't make any kind of changes and not the 90%. We can agree that people don't exercise, they're too dependent on medications, they don't eat right, and so on and so forth. Whatever your justifications, they will fight so hard to keep the crutch, and they will keep the ailment. And they'll defend it with every fabric of their being.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I know someone personally. I argue with them on a regular basis that their lifestyle is terrible. It's very sedentary. They eat like crap. They're on numerous medications. They only even get off of one med and say, well, look, I don't have to take this anymore because they put me on this one. Or you could not eat shit every day and see what that does for you, and they don't want to. I don't want to. It is not in their lifestyle to watch their diet and exercise. They would rather live just off of a pill that will do things for them. You know what? Fine. Then there is nothing more I can do to convince you that one lifestyle will feel better than the other. That's the choice you've made. But I also think, too, there's a big issue as far as having that choice to make that. When he's like, oh, well, RFK is a hypocrite because obviously he's going to take testosterone. And, a lot of people have accused RFK of being anti-vax. And he has said, I never said I was anti-vax. I've been vaccinated. My kids are vaccinated. I just don't want particular vaccines. Where's the choice? We don't have a choice in things when if somebody is eating food with the intention or with the belief that it was healthy, that it was grown without pesticides, that it was made without preservatives or additives, that it was whatever, and it's not, where's their choice then to say, well, I choose to take this supplement because I like what it does to my physique, or hey, I choose to have this kind of diet because it's better for you, except I'm not actually getting that kind of diet because of what we're doing to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, this is related to the previous conversation because we want choices that are impulsive, that have consequences, and then we want to be free of those consequences. So I want to eat cake, and I'll just do Ozempic, right?
Yeah.
I want to, the law, because again, the virtues in this are harder. It's harder to exercise, find better food. It's super easy to say, well, good food is too expensive and it's too far away from my house. And of course you're going to justify it and make reasons why it's harder for you than to do the other thing. That is the point. Nature will reward, right, the harder of the two, just like virtue. Your life will be better if you go the virtuous route, and it'll suck big time unless somebody comes down to rescue. And it's that push and pull where there's generations of people that want to be free of the obligations of those consequences. And we give into those. Mm-hmm. We reward them, and it's really hard to get somebody off of that teat once they're there.
Yeah. Oh, I was arguing with the same person recently. I was watching a bunch of videos and listening to a few podcasts about this particular doctor online who was kind of the same way, talking about the importance of brain health through what you eat, having foods that are good for you, getting exercise, watching the alcohol, things of that nature, things that I feel like most people could universally agree with.
100%, yeah.
Now, the person I was sort of arguing with said, well, I would never go to them. And I said, why? Because you'd have to change your lifestyle and you're not going to do that? Well, they sell supplements. They have their own brand of supplements. And I said, so because they believe in healthy options to the point that they created, and we're not talking about meds. We're talking about they make a protein powder, saffron, omega fatty acids, different things that are an option if somebody needs to take those. Because they have that, you're not going to listen to them. That makes them less credible because she's like, oh, well, they're just trying to make money. They never said you had to buy their stuff. They never said, and it's all these different excuses. That is such bull crap because you cannot say that eating better and exercising is not going to be good for you. It is. And all these people want to find ways in which they don't have to, that they can debunk someone who says that. But I need this, but I need this. Yes, there are cases that people may need something that they get from their doctor, that they get from a pharmaceutical company. Oh, their point too was, well, yeah, he tells his patients that they should buy these supplements and he's making money off of it. Have you ever heard of a drug rep that goes to a doctor's office or a hospital and sells them and gets them to buy and then prescribe their drug so that people can profit?
Same thing.
Yes.
Model has been set.
Yes. It's so frustrating.